Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and you know what? We're back in Southern California in our Temecula home, and I get an opportunity to interview one of my best buddies in the world. Been knowing him for quite some time, doing some remarkable things. So I'm excited about having him. I'm not going to give it away. That's Michelle. She's going to introduce him to him in a few minutes. How you doing, Dr. Cooley?
I'm fine, James. How are you?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. Glad to be home. Glad to be home. Glad to be in studio. I'm going to be in the La Jolla Studios Wednesday and Thursday. I'm excited. I get a chance to see my main man, my producer, Todd. How you doing, Todd? How you doing today?
I'm always good. I'm excited for today's show. We're about to lock it in here in about 10 seconds.
We're going to lock it in, and I tell you what, hey, get ready. Grab you about 10 bags of popcorn because we getting ready to do it.
All right, here we go.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And wow, it's what a way to start the week off back in Southern California. We've got this great guest that's going to be on the show today, and we're going to talk about a whole lot of things. And we're going to talk about this thing called Digital Therapeutic. I mean, I'm excited to know what that is. And I tell you, we grab you about 10, 11 bags of popcorn because you are getting ready to learn a whole lot. And Todd, I hope you got 12 bags of popcorn with that different type of butter that you put on it.
I'm still using the avocado spray. Dr. Mantel said that's what I should use.
And I guess that's what we're going to do. But I tell you, I'm excited about this guest. How you doing, Michelle? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Oh my gosh, they went by really fast, but I'm doing great. And we've had this guest on the show before, but he's bringing a totally new topic to the show to educate and just so to show our audience everything that's out there that his company is providing.
His company providing a whole lot of things, but I also want to thank our subscribers and our viewers out there. We just went over 121,000 subscribers. And that's just on YouTube. So that's not even counting the other 68 platforms, but reviewed by over 2-3 million plus per show. So welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of this great conversation, all you do is whichever platform that you're watching this on, just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Michelle, I'm excited about this guest. Can you please tell our people the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this fantastic guest?
Yes, the title of today's show is Digital Therapeutix Inc. And we're having a sit-down discussion with Dr. Frederick K. Johnson. He's an international strategic advisor, professor, author, MES Dx Thought Leader, and founder and CEO of Digital Therapeutix Inc. He's going to discuss the persistent danger of antimicrobial resistance in the United States. What Digital Therapeutix Inc., what is it and what is it providing? And he's going to talk about the target audience and so much more regarding this particular company. So again, he is an esteemed international strategic advisor, professor, author, and MES Dx Thought Leader with over 20 years of experience in manufacturing information systems. His global network spans Europe, Asia, South Africa, and the United States, enabling him to lead transformative IT initiatives and optimize manufacturing execution systems. He's a passionate advocate for social justice in technology, and he works to make advancements accessible, equitable. As the founder of Digital Therapeutix Inc., he's revolutionizing the fight against bacterial infections through an AI-powered cloud platform focused on bacteriophage therapy. Let him tell more about it. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Frederick K. Johnson. Yay!
I'm doing pretty good. Can you hear me?
I do sense the effort. We have to fix that one, but it's an absolute pleasure having you back on the show. And man, you're doing so many great things. And I think our viewers and listeners need to get an understanding of all the things that you're doing. So
Yes, sir.
first of all, I think your volume might be, on your computer might be up loud, which creating an echo. But we're gonna work through it. But I tell you what, can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about you, where you came from, why you're so passionate about what you do, and we'll just pick it up with that.
Okay. A little bit about Digital Therapeutics here is that it was a company that a good friend of mine and I decided to start a while back ago. Her name is Cindy Chang, and we met in our graduate program at Claremont Graduate University. And so we were thinking about this thing, what we call a commercial consortium. We're going to write a paper about it. And then essentially what happened is we say, hey, why should we make a blueprint for somebody to start a company? Why don't we just go ahead and start our own company? So that came in, I think, somewhere around the beginning of 2023. And then during that time, we sat down and thought about it, came up with some business ideas, came up with some models, how to monetize it. And once I finished my PhD, I decided to take this idea and through the Berkeley MBA program, take this idea and try to monetize it. And through their MBA program, I started working with some incubators and a few accelerators in the area, some really prestigious ones like Skydeck and the Berkeley STEP program. And at that point, that gave us resources and that gave us access to other people that we can bring in and come into the early formation of our company. So we just recently incorporated maybe about a month ago. And so where we're at right now is we're building out the team and we're moving forward with some of the conceptual designs and leading into some of the proofs of concept that will be the actual IP offering probably in about 6 months.
Can you explain to our viewers and our listeners what exactly is digital therapeutic? What type of services or what is that going to do to enhance lives?
Right. So what's digital therapeutics? Okay, so one of the biggest issues that we have in the world today, especially in modern medicine, is the resistance of certain infections, say bacteria infections and so forth. This has caused a great deal of issues in some cases where physicians don't want to overprescribe what we call antibiotics. So the idea is, what do we do in the event when certain bacteria infections or infections become resistant to antibiotic? Well, years and years ago, there's these things what we call bacteriophages. And essentially what they are, they're nature's way of eradicating specific types of bacteria. And so what a phage does is a phage is the counter to a bacteria. The phage has a bacteria, it attaches itself to the bacteria. It injects what we call an RNA or DNA into the bacteria, and that material replicates itself and it destroys or eradicates the bacteria. Now, typically what we have is one bacteria and one phage, and they connect to each other. Now, the problem is that how do you determine which bacteria or which phage will kill which bacteria? And if there's a human or something like a crop, or say, for example, when your pet has these infections, how do we determine that? So what we do is we do genetic sequencing to look and see what type of bacteria infection they have. And the idea is with that, we'll know in a sense that this is bacteria A. And then what we can do is see if there's any known phages that will actually cure or eradicate that particular phage. So the idea here is many people in our society don't know about this. And as antibiotics become more resistant, we're going to need an alternative to curing bacterial infections and certain type of other infectious disease. And what happens is phages are what we call a viable alternative to that. So how do we help healthcare professionals, doctors, and patients have access to finding that information? How do they do that? And currently, there are not a lot of systems or organizations that have these things available. So Cindy and I decided that we take a swing at it.
Get your data and get all of that stuff in order and just start working with it. What type of challenges that you might be facing in creating this technology and ensuring that all the bugs is worked out and you got the right supporting team and the right investors and people that are going to take a major interest in this to make sure that we get this out and get it on the market?
Absolutely. So here's a major challenge, and I think as a person starting their own business, doing your own thing, money, right? That's one of the biggest challenges. But we don't really worry about the money. The idea, what we really want to do is the biggest challenge is, number one, having the vision. Number two is understanding the concepts and understanding what technologies you're going to use to bring this vision into fruition. Number three is having the support group, as you said before, the people. We will definitely have people that are dealing with AI, front-end engineering, software engineers. We'll have people with statistics, people with bioinformatics. So it's really arranging the right team of people, right? And then understanding the needs of the industry. So for example, many of the people that are going to be using our platform will probably be, say, for example, in the there'll be techs. There will be the people that are actually doing the DNA sequences, uploading information, and running DNA matches to find a known phage. So what we need to do is make sure that the platform fits their needs. So they're some of our key people. So when we think about that, what are the things we want to do is make sure that we reach out to our stakeholders, reach out to potential people that will be part of the consortiums, and also make sure that we have our relationships built in terms of getting data of known phages and data of known bacteria. And so the idea is building all of that.
Hey, Dr. Fred, hold that thought. We got to take a station break. But we're going to come back, and I want to pick it up from here.
Yes,
about the challenges and all the things that you're doing. So I tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching this on, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the comment section, any question that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Hey, 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 hey. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James JC Cooley.
and engaging storytelling, James paints a picture about his arrival in a rural Deep South town and realization that life would never be the same. Cooley lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Yeah. Dr. James J.C.
Hello, welcome back to It's Your Life. As you know, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I got an absolutely fantastic guest that's explaining this technology that I'm learning about. I did not know it existed, and it might not, but his company is developing these things. And we left off, Dr. Fred, when you was discussing the challenges on how to get this out and some of the things and the benefits it's going to do for others. Can you pick it up with that?
Yeah, so yeah, those are some of the challenges that I mentioned. It really comes down to resources, particularly money, having the right people, and also being around the right community, and then being connected with the right stakeholders to be able to do beta testing and get feedback.
So, Dr. Fred, what is really the mission and vision of Digital Therapeutix Inc? What is the mission and vision right now? And also, mission does change in a couple of years, but what is the ultimate goal besides what you discussed so far regarding this company?
Yeah, I would say the ultimate goal is to get more awareness of alternatives to antibiotics. Also, to let everybody know that, hey, listen, over in a few years, and maybe another 15, 20 years, antibiotics are going to have some issues, going to run into the wall with them. The other thing is to get people to understand the access of these new different types of therapies. So there's new therapies out there, and really just to empower patients, empower their doctors that there's something else out there, beside antibiotics. So it's really about having access to that and awareness.
So what are the major, let's say, causes of antimicrobial resistance? I know you mentioned it could be over antibiotics usage, but is there more to it than just that? Can you talk about that? Yes.
Absolutely. So I want you to think of it this way: as viruses and bacteria, they're living organisms, so to speak, and they change. I mean, case in point is the COVID. We hear about these different strands, and what happens is the virus mutates. And when the virus mutates, many times viruses or different types of bacteria can mutate with with a resistance to something. So the idea is that these things are always changing. Unlike bacteriophages, they are one-to-one or one-to-many, more or less, relationship. And nature has prescribed them the DNA or the RNA to actually destroy one or eradicate one specific bacteria or virus or infection. Yeah.
So how does this resistance affect, and let's start with three, A, B, and C. How does it affect, first of all, humans, animals, and then the environment? So you talked a little bit about the human aspect. If you wanted to add more to it, that's fine. So let's start with humans again, animals, and then environment.
Yeah, so we have there. So I want you to think that a bacteria infection, a bacteria can be anywhere. The idea is that somewhere along the line we come in contact with it, or it develops on us based on an environment. So with humans, it's a bacteria. With animals, it's the same things, and with crops, we consider those like what we call a blight. It's a bacteria that may do something or kill or spread across a particular crop or agricultural area, destroying the crops. So what we do is we can take a look at what those bacteria are. We can do DNA sequencing or some kind of way to identify what they are. And based on that information, what we'd like to do is take that information and match that information to known cures or estimated cures or some things of that way to actually really bring this to the forefront. So it's a situation where we have a lot of people doing research, not just academics, but we have biotech companies that are also doing the same thing. So we want to match those known, and in many cases, some cases even we have research that's pending and bring that out. So think of just hoof and mouth type of thing, blight, and just like a bacterial infection that a person would get, maybe in a gym or, in the wrong areas, and they come in contact with those things.
So you said you have a lot of research going on. So the researchers, where are you finding your resources as far as researchers and the data they're providing? I know let's mention the CDC or any other major organizations. Can you kind of go into that?
Yeah, so believe it or not, this is a well-researched area. There are a number of organizations out here. Now, I mean, there are tons of them. I'm not going to list, but there are organizations that create what we call a phage database. And these are known phages. We find them and they catalog them. In many cases, they may even catalog what they cure, and there's information about them. So these databases, we have some that are public, we have some that are private, and then we have some that are more or less commercial. For example, there would be biotech companies that are finding these phages and DNA sequencing, and then in a sense patent them as like a cure, these nature. So what you'll see is there's a lot of activity around it, and it has been going on for a long time. The only thing about it is we've never really had a demand for it unless there's something very, very specific. But as we begin to see that the antibiotic resistance to different types of bacteria infections or different type of infections, we're going to see a more demand for that. So this is why you see phage or these organizations popping up around the world. I think there's about 13 of them right now. Maybe about 5 years ago, there were 0.
Was this ever a concern? I know you're bringing Digital Therapeutix Inc., but how long has this been a concern, especially with the resistance to antibiotics? Has this been going on for decades?
Yeah.
People still trying to find the solutions regarding this?
Yeah, so what I'm talking about has been going on for a long time. We've been kicking this can down the road for a long time. So when I mean I'm not a medical doctor, okay? My PhD is information systems. I know how to make cancer drugs and things like that, right? The people who I work with, they're really the scientists, so I lean on them to get my information. But from what I understand is that we've been kicking this can down the road for a long time. And I believe what we're beginning to see is that there are a lot of bacteria infections that are becoming very resistant because of the overprescription and then because of the mutation. So what we're seeing is now, okay, what else is there? And phages have been known since I think the 1900s. This is nothing new. It's just I don't believe we had a demand for it as we have it now. And now it's a little bit more lucrative, where you have Wall Street writing and people writing articles about bacteriophages being the next $1 trillion business in biotech. And so when those things hit, then all of a sudden, hey, there's money to be made. There's gold in them hills, right? So,
how is AI connected with this company? How is it going to help the goals and the mission of Digital Therapeutix Inc?
Okay, so without giving out my trade secrets, I want you to think of it this way, okay? AI is, a lot of people use generative AI. AI can come in all kinds of different flavors, right? AI is being used everywhere from Wall Street to biotech right now. What AI will do is we can create artificial intelligence using a number of different methods. And what we want to do is we want to train these AI to do certain things. One thing we can train an AI to do is to say, find me the quickest path home. And when you look at Google Maps or you look at Apple Maps, what many of these algorithms have done is they have learned the patterns of human, and they've learned certain things. And based on what they've learned, they can extrapolate what things may look like in the future. So without giving out any trade secrets, we will use AI in a similar fashion, but maybe in 2 or 3 different ways. So the AI will allow us to do deeper research into the data, find relationships that that are keen or very important to us, and we take those relationships and generalize on them to do certain things. I don't know if that makes any sense, but AI is really the backing of it because there is lots of data, Michelle, lots of data. And with artificial intelligence, with quantum computing, with cheap disk space and all of that, and cloud computing, we now have the capabilities to be able to do these type of things I'm talking about.
Wow. That means that AI is truly taking over the world.
Well, okay, I'm not going to say it's going to take over the world, JC, but I will say this.
I think it already have, Dr. Fred.
Okay, so let me put it this way. I think we've been using AI for a long time and we didn't know, especially when you use your Apple Map and you want to say, and it paints a little green and red and things like that, and you stay away from that and say, hey, there's an alternate route that'll save you 5 minutes, Fred. Can you want to go this way? Or when you're walking down the street and your Apple Watch says, hey, Fred, it looks like you're jogging. Do you want me to take track? AI.
I tell you what, man, this is so interesting. I'll tell you, whichever platform that you're watching this on, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to that platform, go to the comments, ask Dr. Fred any questions that you might have. I can promise you right now that we'll get you an answer. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago?
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
You can join James as he shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. This is a must listen for anyone who thinks they're stuck in life or needs to understand that their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, a journey that ain't over yet, is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, by Dr. James Cooley, on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and my absolutely fantastic friend Dr. Fred is what I call him. Dr. Frederick K. Johnson is doing so many great things. And one thing I got to say, Fred, me and you talked about, I think 10, 12 years ago,
Yeah.
that one day we both would be doctors. And you know what that was? I will see if you remember what we talked about that at.
I remember. You want me to tell everybody? I ain't gonna put you out there like that.
Yeah. Tell everybody.
Okay, world. So years ago, I remember when I first got here to the Temecula area. And, I like to work out. I love to swim, so I go over to the 24-hour fitness. My wife and I, we signed up. She says she don't want to be there. I'm like, okay, I'll be here. I see this joker right here. He came up, I did my workout, I did my swim, and I go into the steam room. And all I hear is a voice, because the room is all smoky and everything. When it died down, he over there, big old tub of water, like this, big old tub of water. And we got to talking, and I'm like, okay, who's this guy? He's like, yo, I'm JC. And let me tell you, from that point on out, I think every time I would come in, we would sit down, we would talk, and everybody knew you. I mean, I think that was your office. We had some really good conversation, and I also remember you doing a book signing around that area, and came in, and I got your book and everything. I don't know if you signed it, but I do remember taking some pictures with you. I was really proud of you then, man, and I'm proud of you.
I did sign, and we did a book, but my point is this: is at the time it was a thought for
right,
to both of us that we was going to achieve certain accomplishments, but when it's in your heart and when it's about love and about mankind, just like your new product, sure, your new company is all about helping others. If we implant that dream and that hope and that desire in our head, we can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. And
that's right.
And that was the steam room.
That was the mantra in the steam room. If you can think it, it can happen, And JC, I actually take that with me a lot of times. And I know we're kind of here laughing about that, but, I think that was in a time of my life and probably at a time of your life where our paths crossed and people needed that. And what I look at now, even with Digital Therapeutics, is it's really not about the money. I want to make a different kind of company, and I hope I can have that kind of impact. There's always the opportunity of building something and then selling it, and what you wanted it to be transforms into something a little different. May not even support your value systems, but you sold it, right? So, what Cindy and I are really trying to do is we're trying to build something that definitely is profitable, but profitable with respect to humanity and social benefit, and many of the things that we may be creating, and it might be a tool where third world countries may not be able to have access or even afford it. But the idea is we're definitely have that in mind. How do we make it accessible, right? How do we make it accessible? How do we make it available to organizations or people who may not necessarily have the funds of doing it? So that's on the top of what we do. And the other thing that I want to build in terms of this organization is where people are okay, and it's fine for people to bring their whole entire self to work, regardless of who you are. It's really about a spirit versus what body you show up in. And those are really the fundamental things. And once we get our communication and HR person on board, those would be some of the things that we build out, and those would be a part of our principles and our foundation.
And I think that those are so valuable because you take a vision of how things could be, even though it's not like that today.
Yeah.
And you have this vision, and you're able to see the end of the vision, even though it's a conceptual thing right now.
Absolutely.
And you figure out the ways or getting the understanding of putting this into process, and you focus on the end goal. And what I think with digital therapeutic is, I know you, Dr. Fred, you have thought about all those things. You got a blueprint. You already got all these things, and you're gonna do your thing to make sure that this comes to fruition, and to make sure that others will be able to enjoy the fruits of the labor, your labor that you create to feed everyone. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's kind of dear to my heart. I didn't think I was going to be speaking about that today, but I think it's pertinent here. There's a lot of things that I wanted to do over a period of my life, and I actually did get a chance to do them. I never thought, honestly, JC, that I'd be running a startup, but it was really just with some of the people at Claremont Graduate University that helped me through my PhD, some of my good friends there. And I also never thought that I'd be at UC Berkeley, one of the top MBA programs in the world, working with some of the best and brightest minds doing this. So the journey, one of the things I'm learning in the journey is that even though I have a blueprint, even though the things that you talked about is all laid out, one of the things that I'm picking up from UC Berkeley is that I have to be open to an end. It needs to be not so, I need to understand where I want to go, but sometimes it may not actually land exactly on the same tarmac or the same runway where I'm looking at, but it landed. So one of the things I'm really focusing on, just on me, is being open into an end, and also making sure that I have the support network around me. And some people may not necessarily be from the same country that I'm at. And there are people that I'm working with. This is global, believe it or not, on the other side of the country, and other side of the world. So that path I've learned as I go, but it is exactly how you laid it out, And the last thing I want to say about that is, as an African American growing up in the United States, in southeastern Wisconsin, more or less, I always felt that I needed permission to do something. And JC, we don't. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. You're married, you got a family, right? You need to talk to the boss, right? Well, I guess my point is that we don't necessarily need to seek validation. We can have our goals and have our things and go do them. A lot of times I was I needed to check in with this person. No. I had to go back to the time when I started my first breakdance team when I was 15. I didn't ask nobody. I didn't even ask my parents. I was just out there spinning on my head, but I was brave, right? And as we get a little older, sometimes we lose that bravery. Sometimes we lose that. And so that's what I want people to think about. What you see in me is in all of us. Sometimes we just have to have the courage to do it.
Wow. I'm smiling over the breakdance team.
I was getting ready to ask Dr. Fred, can he just spin around and do something right now?
No.
I said Digital Therapeutics, not Digital Underground.
I tell you, we
yes,
got
sir.
a station break. Well, I think we still got about a minute or so. But I want to come back and I want to talk about what government role
yes, sir.
Plays into what you're trying to do, and what does local, state, and other agencies, how can they help you meet your goals and your dreams, and making sure that we are successful in what we're doing. So I tell you, whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of the great conversation with this great doctor, I tell you, all you have to do is just go to the platform, ask him any question that you might have, and I can sit back and tell you right now, I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. KCBQ, the answer, San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1. Just ask Todd to put you through, and I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Yeah. Dr. James JC Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah.
Know what Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. J.C. Cooley.
Your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula wine.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I tell you, I'm thoroughly enjoying this interview with Dr. Frederick K. Johnson. I've been knowing him a long time, and wow, brilliant guy, brilliant mind, as you see, as you hear. Brilliant guy, and his dreams that he had thought out, that had visions of it, he's kind of putting it in fruition. So just so proud of you, my friend. Just so proud of you.
Thank you.
You know, but before we start, I gotta get my producer. I gotta get his opinion, at least 30 seconds of what he think about this interview so far. So Todd, what do you think so far?
Oh, it's a great show. It's amazing how much Dr. Johnson knows. He is a brilliant man, and it's amazing to hear about AI. You know, when AI, first couple of years ago, when I first started hearing about it, I didn't know, all the facets it'd be in, but it's just amazing the use of it, and I can't wait to see what else your guest comes up with.
Wow, I'm excited about this, and I got a question, and then I'm gonna turn it back over to Michelle. But whichever platform that you're watching, it ain't too late if you want to join in on the conversation. Like, easiest way to pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Dr. Fred, as we was talking about, as we was going to the break, could you explain what roles do government and global organizations play in combating? And I know you talked about antimicrobial resistant, microbiology resistant, however you put it. Can you explain to our viewers and listeners what's your expectation from the government and international organizations and other organizations to help you achieve this goal?
Yeah, so believe it or not, pardon me, the countries around the world internationally, as well as our United States government, are kind of tracking this because it's very important. The idea comes down to where are we with this? And as many of these infectious diseases build up, a resistance, the government is posed as like, so what do we do? And that's, I believe, part of the reason why phages are so interesting, because they are the nature's way of combating and eradicating certain bacteria infections. So I think the government, we keep track of this, CDC keeps track of this, state and local officials keep track of this. We also understand that, prescribing certain antibiotics at a period of time, at some point in time, we're going to, hit a wall with that, and we are hitting a wall with that. But I believe what you'll see is what's going on right now, where our country, Wall Street, and a lot of other people are investing into these new type of technologies as a means to, have an alternative to those. So when you see Wall Street want to invest in startups, when you see, these articles come out about, bacteriophages and all these other different things, there are now avenues where people are like, okay, this is where we're going to go because this is the future. So I think it's just naturally how we do things in our country and in the world. But the government, again, I'm not a scientist. I'm in IT, but from what I understand is the government's keeping track of this, and we do have our own public phage databases and things of that nature. So things are happening. It may not be happening as fast as we want or for commercialized purposes, but it's happening.
Wow. So can you tell us about the potential strategy? Let's start with the different sectors. We've got clinical, veterinarian, agricultural, and cross-sector strategies. Can you just go over each one of them, Dr. Frederick?
Yeah. So clinical, as we talked about. So for example, let's say, one of your family members is walking around in the woods, does something, playing with some dead animal, and they get some kind of bacterial infection, right? You go to the doctor, the doctor looks at it, and they try to figure out what bacterial infection it is, and we do some type of analysis, whether it be genetic or whether it be some other ways. We figure out it's this type of bacterial infection. What happens is that typically, if we know what kind of bacterial infection, we know exactly which one can help. Some cases, they just say, hey, let's try this, and they just overload your system with antibiotics, so to speak, and then it kills everything, including the infection, including the good bacteria. And sometimes these things are resistant. So what happens is, in those particular cases, if you have a savvy doctor or somebody who has a connection and they know about these things, they could make some call to different research centers and things like that, pass the information on to them to see if there's a phage. And there was a very famous case that happened down here in San Diego where a person, was a man who got sick. His doctor did exactly what I just said. And a biotech company or organization synthesized a phage and saved his life. I probably should share that information with you, but that's kind of the things that happen. Now it can happen for the same thing for a pet. It could, in veterinarian, it could happen same thing for a blight. The idea is we do an analysis to figure out what it is. And if we try one way and it doesn't work, the option is to look for a phage that can actually eradicate it. So what my organization is doing is selling or services that opens up more options than people may have in the past.
Wow. I just love everything that you're talking about right now. And I believe, and I already know how you are. You're going to continue to work this. You're going to get the organizations involved, and you're going to introduce this technology to the world. So
we're going to try to, Jason. We're going to do our best. But if you allow me, can I plug my alma mater in here? Can I plug?
You know what? Absolutely. I think you'll do your alma mater a disservice if you don't.
Yeah. So I want to plug UC Berkeley, in not because it's Berkeley, but because I want to tell you, I probably couldn't have been able to get as far as I'm getting right now without the ecosystem at Berkeley. Berkeley has one of the most richest ecosystem. I consider Berkeley what I call, scripture, we talk about good ground. Yeah, that good ground where you can plant a seed, it takes roots and it grows and it yields fruit, right? So I want to give a shout out to the executive MBA program, their full-time MBA program, and their weekend MBA program, as well as the Berkeley School of Haas, Berkeley Haas School of Business, because I don't know how to say it, but it's so connected. I mean, I got people emailing me and saying, "Hey, Fred, we heard about what you're doing." I'm like, "How did you hear about what I'm doing? I didn't tell you anything." and people are, I'm getting calls from VCs, and that's because of the strength of the network. So I want to say I probably couldn't have been able to pull it off and broadly bring it as far as I could right now without the support of the EMBA program, which is the executive MBA program at UC Berkeley. It's Berkeley School of Haas, and many of the people have been supporting me there. So that's my plug. All right. And I would have had my Cal t-shirt on, but I don't have it on right now because I wanted to put on a suit.
Well, if you did that, I had to put my Notre Dame.
I know. Okay, fight it Irish.
But hey, Dr. Fred, how can people get in touch with you? How can they help you? How can they donate? How can they do whatever they can to assist you? You got about 30 seconds or less to.
Yeah, so we do. So I just want to let you know, we are just brand new. We incorporated. We got a bunch of things happening. We're bringing on people. Probably at the end of the month, the team will be solidified and we'll be moving into proof of concept probably within the next 6 weeks. We do have a website called DTPX. Digital Therapeutics, DTPXsolutions.com. And you can also look me up on LinkedIn. And then there's also Digital Therapeutix Inc. on LinkedIn. We have a page. So I'm trying to keep it low key right now because I want to be able to introduce the team probably in the next 6 weeks. And then we'll change up our landing page.
But I tell you what, hey, we out of time right now, but I tell you, it's absolute pleasure. You got a standing invitation to the James Cooley Show.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. I'd like to thank my folks in La Jolla Studio, San Diego. Hey, I tell you what, I'll be there Wednesday and Thursday in the flesh. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
The car in your garage is not the car of your dreams. Let's talk. Hi, I'm Garth Blumenthal, Mercedes-Benz of Temecula and Sprinter. The 25s are arriving daily, which means the 2024 models offer an even greater value.